Section 1, Personal Finance. Section Preview, we'll learn about finances and financial planning, economics and the function of money, consumers, producers, goods and services, markets, economic systems, economic strengths, capitalism, competition, supply, and demand. Let's get started. Economics is the study of how people decide what they want. There's also what's called scarcity, and that's when people want more of something than is available. Now, there's certain things that aren't scarce, like air, ocean water. There's currently plenty of air and ocean water, so people don't wish they had more than they do. However, there are many things that are more limited and scarce. One example would be money or simply things. But the amount of money that exists is limited, so people can't just have as much money as they want. Scarcity means that people must make choices because they can't have everything they want. Personal finance is a way you manage your own money and the things you own. In a way, it's how you manage your scarcity. An example, if you have $50, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to buy new shoes? A new video game? Concert ticket? What other things? There are many choices with that 50. So choosing one of those options means you're not choosing the others. So you pick one thing and reject the others. Some people make decisions about how to spend money and then wish later they'd made a different choice. Even if you did that, you actually are going to learn something. And this is all about personal finance. Your finances are the money you have and the things you own that are worth money. Making a plan to save money you need to make a big purchase like a car is an example of financial planning. Here are some things good financial planning skills help you do. Create a budget, fund your education, save money and invest money, borrow to make big purchases like a house or a car, purchase items at a low price, use credit cards responsibly, plan for retirement, set financial goals, keep track of money you earned and the money you spent, understanding how taxes work, and making choices about spending money. So let's go ahead and look at this practice. Which of the following could financial planning help you do? Well, have to pay taxes. Can you spend more money than you earn? That's not financial planning. What about plan for retirement? Yeah, I think that's a way of financial planning, like understanding what to do with my money. An economy is a system of trade. Trade is the exchange of things of value. Value is what something is worth to people. If something has value, people are willing to give money or something else of value in exchange for it. A commodity is something of value. And that can be a book, a bicycle, music lesson, so it can be also a service. A commodity is also sometimes called a product. Having a good understanding of a value of a commodity will help you make smart financial decisions. A financial exchange is when commodities are bought and sold using money. Buying an item in the store is an example of a financial exchange. There are types of commodities. One is a good, which is an item of value that a person can buy or make and then sell. An example might be sweaters you buy at a store, apples you buy at a fruit stand, books you purchase online. And then there's called a commodity, which is a service. A service is something of value that a person can do for another person, such as babysitting, tutoring, landscaping. An example is if you don't speak French, you may need to hire a tutor to help you learn. And if you don't have time to clean your house or wash your car, you might decide to pay someone to do that. Okay, let's do a little practice. Let's see which things are good and which thing is our service. Remember, both these are commodities. If Monica is a veterinarian who treats cats and dogs, well, is she providing a good or a service? She's actually providing a service. If Raoul grows vegetables and sells them at a roadside stand, well, those are goods. If Gabe cleans people's houses, well, he's providing them a service that they wouldn't normally do themselves, but they're hiring out. A soccer coach, that's also a service. Bicycles are tangible, something you can touch, buy, that's a good. Or selling sculptures, that's a good as well. Awesome, let's go on. Another thing we can think about when we look at commodities are what makes those commodities, producers and consumers. A producer is someone who makes a commodity available for sale or exchange. If you sell fruit at a grocery store, teach violin lessons, or make and sell mittens, you're a producer. A consumer is someone who buys and trades in order to receive the commodity. If you're buying something, you're a consumer. Sometimes consumers can trade for commodities without using money. If you trade for a candy bar your friend in exchange for a baseball hat, well, you're trading commodities. Many people are producers in some exchanges and consumer in other exchanges. A farmer who grows and sells corn is a producer of corn. A farmer who then uses the money to buy other commodities, such as apples and shoes, well, this makes the farmer a consumer of apples and shoes. Most people are consumers in at least some areas. Consider how scarce a product is in your economy. It can help you make decisions about its value. In a community where apples grow and are harvested, apples aren't very scarce, so they're less expensive. But in a community where apples have to be brought in from other places, they're more expensive and they're more scarce. The decisions you make about what to buy as a consumer are personal finance decisions. To help you make decisions, it's a good idea to learn about producers who provide the goods. This way, when you're making a purchase, you can compare producer prices and the quality. So if you make a cake for your friend's party and the friend pays you for it, this makes you a what? A commodity? Purchaser, consumer, or producer? Well, I'm making something. So one of those words means to make. Consume means I'm taking it, consuming it. Purchasing means I'm buying it. Commodity is a good or service. You are a producer. Now there's also functions of money. It can be a medium of exchange. Apologize for any technical error, but it seems like we had a little problem with K-12. So I'm going back now and telling you that money is a medium of exchange, which means it's used to buy and sell commodities. And it makes it easier to exchange things because it has value. So instead of having to be trade with somebody, I can use money to buy it, either commodity from a producer or a consumer. Additionally, money stores value. So money is a way for people to store value. So a person who tried to store value in a perishable commodity could easily lose that. So if a farmer grows and harvests berries and at the end of the summer has a berry crop, she can't use the berries a year from now in order to buy or sell things because they'll get bad. So money usually keeps its value over a long period of time. However, money is not necessarily the best way to store value because what's called inflation. The cost of living can increase, and so if my money or my investment hasn't increased, it has less value. If inflation is increasing, which means the value of money is going down, it may make more sense to invest the money in investments that are likely to increase in value. Money also exists as a unit of account, which means that money is something that can be measured, defined, and recorded. So without money, it would be difficult for consumers to know which producer was offering the best deal. It would be more difficult for a producer and a consumer to agree on a price. So money allows producers to set a specific price for a product, and consumers may then compare that price to competitors or negotiate with a producer to get a better price. So, which three things does money help people do in an economy? Well, it allows us to exchange a good and a service. It helps us measure the value of commodities, whether that be a good or a service. A good meaning something I produce, or a service, something I do. It allows us also to store value. Now, there's also what's called a market. A market is where producers and consumers gather to exchange commodity, and this is where economic activity takes place. The U.S. market and global marketplace are terms commonly used to mean the exchange of commodities in the U.S. There are markets that have to do with commodities, or I'm sorry, of a market where producers and consumers gather to exchange commodities. A market can be a physical location or a way of categorizing or naming types of exchanges. The real estate market is focused on the exchange of real estate. The stock market is focused on a single type of commodity called stocks. There's also markets where producers and consumers gather to exchange commodities. These markets may be categorized by very specifically, categorized very specifically, such as retiree market or teenage market. And the characteristic of one group of consumers can be very different from the characteristics of another group. My age people are going to buy something very different from younger people. So the Texas real estate market is a market that is characterized, well, first by Texas, so its location. Real estate's by the commodity, so those two. By what type of commodity it is, it's actually a good, it's a homes, and by location. So if I want to, every country has a measure of economic strength, and a strong economy is one in which the region or country and its people are becoming more profitable. In a strong economy, companies are being formed and expanding, and jobs are growing. The goods and services in the region are growing in value. And the important thing here to know is a country's GDP, gross domestic product, is the value of all goods and services produced in that country. That's one economic indicator. Then there's what's called the unemployment rate. That's the number of jobs available in a country. The unemployment rate is a percentage of people who don't have jobs. A low unemployment rate is a sign of a lot of people working in a good economy. Price stability and inflation are two important things for indicators for the economy. Price stability means when prices of goods and services in an economy stay about the same for a long period of time. So price stability would mean if gas stayed at the same price for a long time, has a stable price, which you all probably know doesn't always happen. Inflation is when the value of the dollar, how much a dollar is worth, goes down, so you can't buy or. So I'm sorry for the interruption, but which of the following is a sign of a weak economy? A high unemployment rate. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. And sorry for the ending here, but I only had 15 minutes, so I want to make sure about the weak economy. Thanks.